Hello and welcome to another episode of Voices of the Vic with me, Mike Duffy. And as always, my co-host, Ben Aston, is with me. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I sound better than you. You've gone full Sean Dyche today, haven't you?
I know, yeah, I thought I'd do my best Deutsche impression for this podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. Yeah, all good here.
Good. And we're both good because of the result that happened. It's another podcast where we've come off the back of a win. And we'll obviously talk to you about our thoughts on it in this podcast. So I want to start right at the beginning. How are you feeling going into the game? Considering, and as well, I just want to say, for once, the stats that we put out didn't jinx us because we've actually got a very good home record against Newcastle United, which we put out on Twitter because we didn't do a preview show. So considering our good home form against Newcastle and considering the position we're in and also considering that we're coming in off the back of a win, they're coming in off the back of a 5-0 drubbing, so they might be up for it. How was you feeling sort of going into that game, Ben?
Yeah, feeling okay. We are Newcastle United's bogey team, aren't we? We pretty much always beat them whenever we play them. Even beat them in the FA Cup last year on our road to Wembley. So yeah, I was feeling confident going into it. I thought if we were going to get anything out of the next two games, being Newcastle and West Ham, I thought a better chance was going to be out of the Newcastle game. And seeing them getting a drumming at City 5-0 and seeing a few players were missing from the side, I kind of was a bit hopeful that they was going to be missing as well. But they came straight back into the side and yeah, I thought we did all right against them as well. But yeah, feeling confident going into the game. Yeah, just feeling confident, mate.
Yeah, well, no, not much more you can say on that. It's one of them. Obviously, we know the fixtures that we've got. We're identifying. We identified Newcastle and West Ham as the two games where we need to pick up points because Man City and Arsenal are free hits. There was part of me that, like a real optimist part of me, thought we might actually get something at home to City. But then I watched them last night against Brighton, and
that went out the window.
Yeah, pretty quickly. But yeah, so we identified Newcastle as one of the games we had to pick up points in, and luckily we did. But I want to start with the team news. Are you massively surprised that it was unchanged from the Norwich game? Was you expecting any changes? Or
no, I wasn't expecting any changes. I predicted it was going to be an unchanged starting 11. I think Pearson wanted to keep the rhythm with the players at start of the other game. Built some confidence up from that 2-1 victory against Norwich, and also fighting spirit to come back from 1-0 down as well. So I was fully behind the unchanged starting lineup.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, coming back from behind, because obviously we did it last week against Norwich. We've done it now. And I think before the Norwich game, there was a stat which I think we hadn't won since after going behind. I believe that was the stat, or we'd only picked up 2 points from losing positions. And now we've done it sort of back to back. So that was good to see. And it shows that the players are willing to fight.
Yeah, because, no, definitely. And also, you don't change a winning side, do you?
No. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Have I said that right? Yeah.
You're along the right lines.
yeah. I've had a rough weekend, ladies and gents. So you'll let me off on that one. But yeah, no, I think I predicted one change. I thought that who did I think was going to come in? I thought Cleverley would come in for the core.
Yeah.
But Cleverley came on later on in the game, and again, he was chasing everything down. He wasn't gambling on anything. He was chasing it down, and he's a player who I think we'll see a lot more of next season. So I was happy with his performance. But yeah, I think unchanged was the best way to go. But as always, Ben, we started the game off in true Watford fashion. We started off sort of slow, and we were talking about it just before we started recording, but I thought it was offside. We were undone from a corner set piece. Corner comes in. Is it Lascelles that flicks it onto the back post? And then Dwight Gale's got the freedom of Vicarage Road, just runs past his man and taps it in. And I thought it was offside. But how easy was that?
Yeah, I think it was Fernandes got the flick on for the
was
goal.
It Fernandes?
Yeah, and it was actually going in as well. So I don't know why. Well, Gale's been a typical striker, wanting to claim him. Jesus did the same for Man City yesterday, didn't he, as well? So yeah, you can't blame him for putting his toe on the end of that. But yeah, I was saying to you just before we came that they didn't go to VAR. I was kind of hoping they was going to VAR just to see if his toenail was offside.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Gale timed his run perfectly. He was quick enough to react to the flick on and, popped it in, which was frustrating to see because just before that, Newcastle had created another really good chance from a corner. I think it was a corner that was kind of flicked on by Deeney at the front post just to try and clear it, and it fell to Almiron. And then he had a shot which straight at Foster. Foster did brilliantly to stop that going in. So there was warnings on the card straight away, and that was 2 set pieces in a row, and they ended up scoring from the second one, which was kicking you while you're down, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, like you said, they'd had a chance before with Almiron, and you think they'd sort of understand that Newcastle are a very good team from set pieces, and that's Steve Bruce. It always has been like that. But yeah, we were undone by a set piece, and I was hoping it was offside, but Dwight Gale was very quick, and I think they did show a replay where the linesman's view after the game, and he was well onside, so can't say anything about that. But so we went 1-0 down, and I said to you before we started recording, I have to hold my hands up. I thought, that's it. I thought, we'll take the 1-0 now. I thought, we're not coming back from this. We were lucky to do it. And I thought Newcastle are a lot stronger team than Norwich, obviously. And I think, on a side note, I think Steve Bruce has done an excellent job there. And they are a very good team. So I thought, we struggled to do it against Norwich, but the lads made me eat my words. You know, we were pushing and pushing, albeit in the second half. This was, but the first penalty, we'll jump straight into the second half.
We almost scored from Danny Welbeck after the Newcastle goal. A half volley off the post. It looked like it was creeping in, but Lascelles got there quickly just to clear it off the line. But that was, I was watching it with Kate, and she was saying, does the whole ball have to cross the line? I was like, yeah, unfortunately, yes. She would have gave it. Yeah, we would have that.
If only she was in charge of it.
That was just before they actually scored to go 1-0 up as well. So that was unfortunate that didn't go in. But yeah, it was the game. It's typical Watford, really. We've seen it since the restart. We've been pretty bang average or below par first half, haven't we? It takes. I don't know if it's because they're all anxious, they're under pressure. They know what's at stake. They're struggling to get up for the game, and it takes a rollicking at half time to get all the players going. It shouldn't really take that, really, but I don't know why. But with this Watford side, it seems to be going that way.
Yeah, it seems to be a regular pattern week in, week out. And, you know, if
exactly.
we're winning more games, I think, then I don't care how crap we are in the first half, as long as we bloody win come full time. But going into the second half, and thanks for pointing it out, because that was probably one of the most talked about things, and I completely missed it. So
it's been a rough night for you.
Shows what sort of weekend I've had. But but going into the second half, obviously, as you've just said, we were getting forward more. Sarr was a lot more.
Yeah, he came alive second half.
Sarr was very, very good yesterday. Yeah, massively, and I think we've needed that from him. You know, we've needed. He's perhaps been a bit isolated with us playing it up to Troy all the time and hoping that he can win the flick-ons and whatnot, which he did do in this game as well. But we involved Sarr a lot more. But the first penalty I want to talk about, Kiko Femenia, who I think has gone under the radar this not just since lockdown, but this season. I think he's been absolutely superb. You know, always getting forwards, not afraid to get in the box, not afraid to have a few pot shots or cross it back or whatnot. And his persistence paid off. He got into the box, some silky stuff on the side, got into the box, and it was a clear penalty all day. I don't know how. I've seen some Newcastle fans saying it wasn't a penalty, but I've got, and this isn't me being biased, but I genuinely don't
definitely
think
not. It was a penalty all day long. It was a great play from Sarr. Great quick feet and vision to play Kiko away. And once Kiko gets those legs going, there's no stopping him. He skips past one challenge, and then Richie was quite clumsy the way he tumbled into him to bring him down. But all day long, a penalty in my eyes.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I'd tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Capoue at Chelsea the other week. You know, he didn't have to go in, but when you commit yourself to a challenge like that,
Nah.
no matter, even if you try and stop, you ain't coming out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You've just got to take it, and it was a penalty. Troy hasn't scored. I think he scored one in the last 10. I think they said before he stepped up.
I
Was you
knew that
confident
he
that he was
missed a
going to
penalty
dispatch it?
against his
Or
keeper last season. I know it was up the other end in front of the Vicarage Road end.
yeah, he did.
I actually said to my partner that I think he's going to miss this. I think he's going to go down the middle, but the Paprika is going to save it with his legs. So I was a bit unsure about it, but if there's no one better to step up for a penalty than the guy who's got balls of steel, Troy Deeney, absolutely levered it, didn't he? Similar to the goal at Wembley, wasn't it?
He did. He said, yeah, no, he was. It was actually
he
very,
just
very
put the ball
similar.
down,
And
didn't eyeball the
similar
keeper, and he was like,
celebration as well.
"I'm going to smash this as hard as I can, and if it hits a keeper, I'm taking the keeper with me." And yeah, it was a good penalty from Troy, and it's exactly what we needed. If he ends up missing that, he knows how crucial that is to our season. Are we going to come back from missing a penalty 1-0 down at Newcastle? It's going to be tough after that, but yeah. Stepped up. There's no better person than Troy Deeney to dispatch that penalty, and thankfully 1-1 after that. Game on.
Yeah, absolutely, and he will do his confidence a world of good because he's been in the conversations of many Watford fans recently, especially on social media. Of we won't fully go into it, but of is Troy sort of has Watford outgrown him? I think. Have we moved on? He's probably the better phrase, I should say. And I've always been a big fan of Troy. Obviously, coming from Birmingham and whatnot, I know the background he's come from, and he's done very well for himself. But I get where people are coming from, but I do think that without him,
he's a
we
leader
would
on
be
and
in
off
a
the
lot
pitch,
worse
isn't he? And
situation than people
he's
perhaps think.
like we said last week. Nigel Pearson's never going to drop his captain, especially when you're in a dogfight, and that's when you need your leaders to step up. I didn't think he had a great first half, but second half he stepped up, and he actually performed much better. I think, as you say, the goal gives him confidence. He kind of grew into the game a bit more. He should have done better from when that chance he
Oh, mate, when Hughesy intercepted it, he could have, right? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ben, but he could have. He had three options. He either puts it in one of the corners, he either puts it to Sarr, who was on his left, or he puts it to Will Hughes, who's on his right.
I think Deeney treated that like a penalty.
Yeah,
he was hitting it as hard as he can. And unluckily, unlucky for us, the goalkeeper just stood still and just took that. But like I was saying last week, that's Watford at our best. When we high press, we cause other teams to make mistakes in and around the penalty box. And if we carry on doing this for the rest of the season, we're going to get some joy out of it. And it's great awareness from Hughesy to intercept that.
Yeah, well, like he says, Decore, we see Decore do that a lot. We've seen Delafeu do that a lot. Hughes, just off the top of my head, I think one of the goals that we scored this season against Arsenal, the 2-2 draw, come from us high pressing.
But that shows the desire in the side as well, trying to win the ball high up the pitch. And just you naming all those players that he could have passed it to, showing that we've got 3 or 4 players in and around the penalty box as well. All the desire from all of them, all wanting to score and trying to get us back into the lead. It was brilliant to see. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a bit of fight. We wanted to see desire. We wanted to see passion. Second half yesterday, I don't think you could fault any Watford player.
No, I completely agree. So obviously Troy put that one away and it was 1-1. And then more silky stuff down the right-hand side. This time it was Sarr. It was from a throw-in. So Kiko returned the favour. It was from a throw-in. Sarr gets round Fernandez, I think it was. And Manquillo, is it? My bad. And Manquillo decides, I'm going to jump on your back. Let's go for a piggyback. Like, he completely... And the funniest part about it was how he was trying to dispute it to Craig Pawson, the referee, and he was sort of showing him what he'd just done. I'm like, mate, that was so obvious. Like, literally, I thought he was going to put on Sarr's shirt at one stage, but that's what Sarr can do, and that's what I mean, getting him involved when he's making those runs. Like, we've seen it, and to be honest, we saw it with St. Maximum. He had a couple of chances, and he's a very fast player, very, very good. But when you get a player like that on the ball and you just let him run and take on a few players, you've either one got to get absolutely embarrassed and skinned, and then we've created a chance.
Definitely.
Or two,
I don't know if you remember this stat.
That's what he did.
When we first signed Sarr, I put in the WhatsApp group at the start of the season saying like how pleased I was with us signing him, and he actually he was the second most fouled in the French league last season behind Pepe. I think he was fouled about 7 or 8 times last season. So when he gets in the areas, defenders hate defending against people like that. But yeah, great intelligence from Sarr just to feel where the defender was. He knew there was space behind him. Quickly he twisted his body round him and had a clear run, and just pulled down. Like you say, he had a piggyback. I think he was tired, but I think it was a bit suicidal for Steve Bruce, to be fair. He saw that Danny Rose was getting run ragged down that side. He couldn't really handle Sarr or the overlap from Kiko. So he thought, I'll switch it up. He will take Danny Rose off. I don't know who he brought on, but then he switched over Manquillo over to that side. Manquillo was on a yellow card as well, so I think Sarr was licking his lips thinking, I can get at him. And literally, it was about 15, 20 seconds later, he pulled him down for a penalty. But we're not going to complain. Well done, Steve Bruce, tactical genius. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do more of that next season, because it's looking like we might be playing them next season. And then Troy stepped up again, and I was in an unfortunate position where the place I was watching the game in yesterday, I think we were 1 minute behind. So I was out with a load of Villa fans, and they all had the notifications on their phone. I said, you do not tell me what happens with this penalty, because they were, obviously we were behind. But I was adamant. I said, he's definitely going to mix it up, because I was sort of trying to think of it from being a goalkeeper, and then sort of thinking it in Troy's position, because like it must be so hard. What do? Do you put it in the same place and risk him just staying there and trying to get it, or do you mix it up? And then you've got all these thoughts, and what's the goalkeeper thinking? But Troy, he went for it again, and he's absolutely bollocked it in. He smashed it in.
That was brilliant from Troy. It was mind games, wasn't it? It was like, who's going to win the mind games out of this to decide what's going to happen, if the ball's going to go in the back of the net or if the keeper's going to save it. I was saying to you, I didn't have confidence really for Troy stepping up for the first penalty, but the second penalty, I had no doubt. I thought Troy was going to absolutely smash this. And seeing the penalty back, he actually had a better connection with the ball second time round. I thought it was much better penalty second time round.
He did. But I was worried. And there's an interview on the Watford YouTube, if you've not watched it yet, ladies and gents, and it's Troy, obviously interviewing Troy, and he actually said to Dubravka before he put the ball down on the spot, he says, you know which way I'm going, but Dubravka still dived the same way. So I don't know if, it was mind games, but I think that's Troy.
He was full of confidence at that point, wasn't he?
Where he's going to go, but he says, yeah, absolutely, and why not? And he dispatched it, and we went 2-1 up, and from there on in, I don't think
the only time Newcastle looked a threat, I think that was breaking on goal, and then Dawson out of nowhere had a tremendous tackle, and I thought, that's superb. That's exactly what you want. I think we're slowly seeing a bit of leadership at the back now from Craig Dawson as well, which is what. Yeah, he's looking much better, but that was it. If that's all we can talk about for chances second half for Newcastle, then defenders did their job. We don't want to be talking about the defenders much. If we've not spoken about the defenders, it means they've done their job. And Dawson and Cabaselli did the job yesterday, and I think that's a partnership that's growing game on game.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think he's cemented that spot now, because earlier in the season he was in and out the side and whatnot, but he's really cemented that spot and made it his. And like you say, he's a leader. You saw it at West Brom and whatnot. That's what he does. And obviously him knowing Ben so well, they've got that good bond. It's good to have that good bond between the keeper and the defence, because if they're not sort of on the same level, then
I thought it was good game management as well. Like against Norwich last week, I think we allowed them to have too much time on the ball, especially when we took the lead. Norwich was putting us under a lot of pressure, whereas yesterday we kept on going and we didn't allow Newcastle to do that. So I thought it was definitely a lot of game management being played in that second half, and it really worked for us. You could tell that the confidence from coming 1-0 down, not just in one game, in 2 games now. It's back-to-back games we've came from 1-0 down to go on to win. Great character from the boys, and that's only helping their confidence. You could see second half, it was like the shackles were off. The ball was on the floor a lot more. There was good passes of play between Deeney, Sarr, Welbeck. The 3 up front looked like they was linking up well, and there was all switching sides as well. It was good to see, and that's what we wanted to see. But we knew it was going to be a struggle. It was going to be slow until we started playing good football again. We was on a horrible run of form, and now we've managed to get 2 wins, back-to-back Premier League wins, first time since January. So it's looking up for us now.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. I completely agree, and we did well to shut the game out. And if anything, I think we probably look like scoring another goal or 2, to be honest. Which
there's a few chances, wasn't there? I think Decore had a chance that he put over as well. It was on his weaker foot, but a lot more chances. I think I was looking at the stats after the game yesterday, and for once we actually had more shots on goal than the opponent, and that was good to see. And there was quite more shots on target as well. So whatever they're doing in training's working.
Yeah, definitely. What did you make of the timing of the substitutions? Because we've spoke about this a lot, and it's a lot's been made of Pearson's substitutions and the timing of it. His first substitution was in, I think, at the 80th minute or something. Do you think it was a case of, I'm going to make them later on to sort of slow the game down? Or what did you make of the timing of them?
As the games go on, I feel like Pearson only trusts a few players, and he trusts them all. He has more trust in the 11 that's out on the pitch than the people maybe on his bench. And I didn't want him to change it up too early yesterday. I thought his substitutions were spot on yesterday, because for the people that went out second half, the 11 on the pitch gave it their all and turned it around from 1-0 down. So I wasn't really wanting to change it. And knowing that we was playing West Ham on Friday night, I think there's enough recovery time for them as well. But just the 2 substitutions yesterday, wasn't it? It was just Cleverley coming on, and then Gray coming on last few minutes as well for Troy, who actually asked to come off. Troy didn't he? Because which we weren't really aware of. Troy's it looks like he's had a knee injury the last few weeks, and he's playing through the pain barrier. And that's probably to do with his performances not being up to scratch either. But he's putting his body on the line here, and he's putting in performances still as well. See, I think we need to get off Troy's back a little bit here. He's putting his body on his line. He managed to step up when no other players probably would be able to step on for that moment and dispatch those 2 penalties. He's our leader. He's our captain. He's been with us for so many years now. Maybe reassess it at the end of the season, but for the time being, we need Troy Deeney in this side, and he's going to help us stay up in this division.
Yeah, he is, and he also said in that interview after the game that whatever's wrong with it, he's going to get it drained, and then he's going to have an injection or something. So
it looks like it's going to be managed week by week, isn't it? He's going to get it drained and injected before every game, and then he'll probably end up having like a little surgery at the end of the season or something to try and get himself better for next season. But if that's what he needs to do to keep himself on the pitch and to keep Watford in the Premier League, then he's going to carry on doing it.
He is, and he certainly won't be backing down from the challenge. I know that. I know a lot's been questioned about him, but I can assure you that he's probably giving it his all, and he really cares about this club, because we've done a lot for him and he's done a lot for us. But so come the final whistle, obviously 2-1. We're now 7 points clear of Bournemouth and Aston Villa, who both play today on Sunday. So Bournemouth are at home to Leicester, and then Villa are at home to Crystal Palace. I don't want to. In fact, I'm going to ask you: do you think it's done now,
or I'd like to think it's done?
There's
but
another twist in the tail, so to speak.
I don't really have much hope for Villa to getting out of this situation. I feel the only team that could possibly stay up will be Bournemouth. They have a lot of attacking threat in their sides, and they've shown that in the last few games. They showed it at Manchester United away. They stepped up. Spurs at home. They was a better side against Spurs. Spurs were woeful in that game, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if anyone's going to try and push us, it's a big ask to get 2 wins out of their last 4 games, though. But I'd like to say that we need to pick something up against West Ham away. Who knows? A point might be good enough for West Ham and Watford to stay up. So if maybe Pearson can get on the old blower to Moisey and arrange for a 0-0 draw, 50% possession for both teams. No shots on target. We'll take that all day long if that means we'll stay in the Premier League.
Absolutely. We'll take the most boringest game of football in the world if it means that we stay in. And we spoke about on the pods before, obviously. I think you said we needed, was it 7 points you thought we needed before the Newcastle game out of the next 2? Not 7 points, 7 points from the last 4 games. We had a lot of interaction on Twitter as well when we put the question out. I personally thought 2 would be enough, but we've got 3. Let's go to West Ham now. Let's not do anything silly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's try and, honestly, I'm not just saying this now. I wouldn't usually say this. Just sit back. I'd be happy if we just sit back and take a draw. And I think West Ham will be in a similar position. But they looked very good, albeit against a now relegated Norwich side. But they've got a big threat in Antonio, and he's going to be going into the game in full of confidence. So we need to be wary of him. Craig Dawson and co need to have another solid performance to keep him quiet. But yeah, I think that's probably about it, to be honest. We like keeping them short because it means that we haven't gone wrong and we don't have to
mention for Will Hughes yesterday. I thought that was a massive performance from him. Since the restart, he's been very ballsy. He wants to win and graft.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love him to probably be like a captain of this club once Troy leaves. You can see now he's playing in his correct position. Everyone's raving about him like he was at Derby County. He's showing how good of a player he can actually be. And he was wasted out on the left last season. And he's probably my player of the season now. He's been absolutely outstanding. So... I think Hughesy's just been brilliant since the restart, and he's been dragging us through this and pulling his sleeves up. It's been absolutely outstanding. So yeah, just what
you shouldn't have said that, because when you said about Ben Foster being the player,
do you know what it is, mate?
He went on
the moment you stop doing those fan walls, Watford actually won games. So you say those fan walls, we'll carry on winning. So it's nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a bit of a bad luck charm. I actually haven't seen us win this season. I thought the FA Cup game against Tranmere at home was going to break that duck, especially after being 3-0 up after like 20 minutes. But no, I'll stay off the fan walls. You stop saying people are the player of the season, because they'll go crap a few games after. And we'll just keep talking about the football and hoping that mathematically soon it will be confirmed that we are staying in the Premier League. But 7 points adrift, 7 points clear. It looks so much, like I say, a couple of episodes' time, I can mathematically, confidently say we are staying up. So that's the aim. And I think if the lads put in a performance like they did yesterday, I think we can't go too far wrong. But Ben, I think that's about it. I think we've covered everything we need to cover in good time as well. And like I say, it's so much nicer to speak when we've come off a back of a win, especially back-to-back wins. We haven't seen that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It feels much more easier to be doing these podcasts. I don't want to be coming on here after we've lost and we have to overanalyze it and we have to pick faults out and start like moaning about the Watford team. I don't this team, and I love the players we've got. So it makes our jobs a lot easier when we put in performances like that, and we can be like, "Yep, that's 30 minutes on the podcast. That'll do. Right, enjoy the rest of your day. See you later."
Pretty much. That can be our sign off every week now. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later. But no. Thank you for listening as always, whether it's the first time, whether it's the 8th time now, episode 8, I think this will be. but we really do appreciate it. Me and Ben have been speaking, behind the recordings, and we didn't expect the interaction that we've been getting. So thanks to everyone that sort of followed us, interacted with us, interacted on our polls as well. We're going to get a lot more of those out, and hopefully as well, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be in a position where we can do another giveaway. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And we hope you enjoy your Monday as you listen to this. We hope you've enjoyed it, I should say, because it's coming out at 5 p.m. And hopefully next time we speak, it'll be after another victory in the shape of West Ham. But honestly, if any of the Watford players are listening, firstly, hello. Secondly, 0-0 draw. That'll do us, honestly. Go defensive. Troy centre-back. Honestly, 11 men behind the ball. I really don't care. But no, in all seriousness, it's looking a lot better considering where we was at the start of these recordings. And hopefully we'll bring you the news in a few weeks that it's confirmed and that we're going to be in the Premier League. But for now, thank you very much for listening to another episode of Voices of the Vic. And we hope that you liked it. Don't forget, as always, tell your mates, tag your mates in it, get them to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And thanks for the support and keep listening. Thanks very much, guys.